it's Mark and Cindy on the radio, 10 to 11 a.m. Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show. Every day I listen in. We're gonna talk about what's going on in town. You never know who's gonna come around on the Mark and Cindy show. Well, it's Mark and Cindy on the radio, 10 to 11 a.m. Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show.
Good morning, everybody. It's a little late.
Oh, it's so late, Cindy.
Richard, you've got to get here on time.
I don't know what we're going to do with this boy.
I fell asleep.
Oh, man.
They came in, and I was like, what? You have
I
a
tell
show?
you, it was, I called
What a day.
Dick. I was running late because I forgot my briefcase and all that. I had to turn around and go back home. And I told him I was going to be late. And then I get a call from Cindy. He said, Mark, I'm just hit 45. I don't know. Wednesday, it's a bad day.
It's in the middle, and I was so excited about today. This is going to be fun. It's just Mark and I and Richard. I guess that Mark and me and Rich. I can't remember.
I get them mixed up.
Anyway,
I wouldn't necessarily count me.
I'm
Okay,
not
don't
counting
count
him.
Dick.
He's having a hard
Oh, he
day
did.
today.
Traffic bad.
And then we call and say we're going to be
Traffic
just play one more country song because we know people will appreciate that and get them in the mood for us.
I
Right?
wonder how
I
many
agree.
current listeners we've lost as a result of this lateness.
I'm
feel
so
terrible.
sorry.
about
I
it.
do feel bad.
So
And-
most of you are archived people, I'm
and
assuming.
yeah, luckily they can catch it on the archive, and they're going like, "Shut up, go on."
Yeah.
You're
Well,
late.
you
So
don't
what?
need
Big
that.
deal. But it is
Cindy,
a big deal.
I did not. I was running so late, and I didn't check my emails last night about what you had. But let me mention a couple of things I want to actually
Please,
this morning,
go
a couple-
ahead.
We're going to talk about a little bit about farmers and the problems they're having. Riots in Arizona. Oh, my gosh. And breathing better, how to breathe. And also a lady that gets struck by a meteorite. That's very rare.
What?
And when it happens, you don't expect to survive. She did. And I got a couple of jokes that are...
Tamara
riots.
Morris loves your jokes.
Get
so-
out of here.
Yeah, she loves
well,
your
they're
jokes.
sure not
so-
original. So
Well, we've got to have her on again. We got to call her.
We need her back.
And also, we're going to be you're going to be the MC, and I'm going to be one of the judges for the pet
When is
fair.
that?
Apparently, it's April 8th, and she had a long conversation with Al. Al's going to be there. Your brother Al
good,
Hader's going to be
good.
there, and he's bringing someone. I don't know if Richard can hear this, but Al is bringing someone to the pet fair and asked him, Lisa, if it was okay if he brought a guy to film it for his city cable show.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
doing a show on
Well, I'll be.
on the cable
How
channel.
fortuitous.
Have they seen our show? Have they?
No.
They haven't. Well, okay, so that's.
Should I wear
it wasn't
a
they
sack
decided.
over my head?
It wasn't
Not
the
that
thing.
anyone would care. But
No, but I'm so glad.
Well.
I'm so proud of him. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to tune in and see that. But anyway, so she's trying to get this all coordinated, and she sent an email or message on Facebook to you and myself and Al.
pretty recently.
Yes, this was happening last night. They were talking back and forth, and I couldn't join in. I don't know why. It didn't give me any kind of prompt to write a comment to it because I wanted to say,
Those scare me, Cindy,
Yeah, we'll
when I
be
get
there.
a prop. Somebody's talking, I don't want to talk.
now the play is over by April 8th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It ends this Sunday, the 6th.
Okay, so that's over. Reminding everybody that
They are so sick of this, I'm sure.
no, they're not, unless they've seen it. And they
Well,
have to
yeah,
like,
then what the heck?
All right. But that Mark Hader is starring in Inherit the Wind, big production that's going on right across the street in the Owen Theater.
My dear sister Jill, she came, I forget which night it was, but she's also coming this Saturday to see it again. That girl, I don't know what to say, but that's very sweet of her.
Glutton for punishment.
She
No, I
is
didn't mean
that.
I did not
She
mean
is that.
No, Jill, I haven't talked to Jill in a while. You tell her to call.
I know.
You don't call the station. That's the only way I get to talk to your family.
I know. She's at work, and they frown on that kind of stuff, but they can get... I don't want to say anything about it.
No. So,
Yeah.
Jill, I miss you if you hear this on the archive, and give me a call.
Yeah.
Facebook me.
What did you Facebook about what we're going to do today? This I should know, but I
No,
didn't.
I actually wish I had it in front of me to read this to you because I said that we're going to have a free-for-all on
my
today.
word.
And that, but we always try and keep the Market City free for all because it is priceless and everyone
very
should
good,
have
Cindy.
it. I know it's just
Great.
you could write an article on it if you want to. But anyway,
Yeah.
I said
need
that
a topic, Cindy. Go ahead.
and well, I told people that we people that knew us and knows we have been on the air for 5.5 months, and those that have listened all the time probably understood the way I was saying we're free for all. It's going to be great. Is that we had nothing, and that until right now we do because the UN has issued a report, and it's in the National Journal. If you want to follow up on this and read it. And that I'm not kidding, and it's a big receipt for you to understand that this is what they're talking about. But unless we reduce the emissions of CO2 and methane into the air, that the Earth will warm 2 degrees. And there's nothing we can do about it. Once it does that, we cannot reduce that. So we have got to... We've got to reduce those emissions. And 30% of those emissions that trap the heat, and that's what causes the atmosphere to heat up, they say. And the global warming comes from agricultural. And they're talking about the cows who emit methane. Methane is the most dangerous.
30%?
37% is what they said. 37%.
Okay.
Isn't that amazing?
That
but that's
is
what
so amazing,
that's what's
it's
in
scary.
I made sure I said it over and over again to myself so I remember. 37%. So they are wanting to have a global change of diet so that the methane emissions from anybody or everybody, anyway, we cut down on that and cut down on eating meat, and that we need to become vegetarians. This is what they're going to go for and try and stress that we become vegetarians and that we reduce our dependency on meat.
Let me ask you, where did you read this?
This is a National Journal.
The National Journal of...
And this comes from the climate change report. It's 49-page report. That's why I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning reading this stuff.
Cindy, you do that so often.
Yikes.
I keep telling you, quit it. You just don't. That's...
So, anyway, I felt that people that can't be right. The people that are...
when you're 10 minutes late.
Yeah, when you're 10 minutes late, we still got to keep a schedule.
I know
here.
Richard just showed us that we had 2 more minutes before we go to the break. Anyway, the people our age do worry about that and wonder what they're going to have suggested for us. I don't know how they can implement those
they can't.
rules.
But, people are scared to death, particularly in this country of the United Nations, making this a country of... Anyway, taking over our rights. They have so little influence over anything. And but what this is, it's one of the many organizations. There are countries out there that have been farming forever, and the people they don't know anything about really how they are farming and the best ways to do it. So the United Nations actually has an organization set up to go to Africa and some Latin American areas to give them help. This whole flatulence from the cows thing, I mean, I've heard it a bunch on, I didn't know if it was serious or not, but boy, it sounded like they're serious.
No, it was. It was serious.
Yeah. I saw a documentary on Greenland melting that was, whoa, it's scary. They show, the picture of the satellite image of here's Greenland. It was even 10 years ago and now, and it is... and of course,
Was it from the day after tomorrow?
It was from the day. No, that was that was the direct opposite of what Greenland's happening now. But yeah, and the whole deal about the water is we gotta leave.
Well,
Dick,
we have to.
Thanks, Scott. We got to leave for this.
We have to come back.
I
Back
just
in a few minutes.
Smile, Mark.
Whoa!
All right.
Oh no!
Okay, now he's dancing. He's dancing.
Did you know there are over 800 abused children in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Susan, a volunteer with CASA Child Advocates of Montgomery County. April is Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. CASA Child Advocates trains and supports volunteers to be the voice of children who have been removed from their home because of abuse or neglect. We need volunteers just like you to speak up for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com or call 936-441-5437.
Do you ever wonder what's going on in the business community? Are you looking for ways to get plugged in? Cassandra Roshan here, Director of Membership Development with the Greater Conroe, Lake Conroe Area Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to invite you to tune in to Chamber Chat. Tune in the first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. so you will be in the know for all Chamber happenings for the month. Each month, the Chamber offers 2 free lunch and learn sessions, a networking breakfast, business after hours, membership luncheon, as well as many other special events throughout the year. I will give you a rundown of all programs and events for the month, as well as interview our speakers and hosts of these events. So grab a cup of coffee and tune in to Chamber Chat the first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. Chat with you then.
Good
Don't make me stop.
morning,
Don't
and
make me
welcome
stop.
back to the Mark and Cindy
Oh,
Show. I don't even
fascinating.
think we mentioned that in the first segment
that
we're listening.
outro was really fast.
That was a fast outro. Oh man, when that
The
song
Mark
started,
and
I was
Cindy
up
Show.
out of my chair. And
Wow. And this show reminds me is that I think this has been going on like forever. I don't care what the dancing, whatever moves they've got going on at whatever time that you grew up, is that, and girls, try and validate this, but I think this is true that we go into a club and somebody's going to come over and ask you to dance. And you kind of check out the guys before somebody comes and asks you to dance to see, what they look like. And I'm like, oh, he's cute. I hope he asks me to dance. And so they're sitting there at the table, and they got all this rhythm sitting there at the table going like, looking really cool. But then when they stand up and start walking over to you, and they've got something happens to their body from the neck that is just like, oh please, I hope he walks past me because he's terrible. And I don't know what it is. What happens to guys that this is
the
okay, this
gawky
is
stuff.
cool.
I always liked the day when you had the dance card. That way you don't have to be in those situations.
Were you alive then, Dick?
No, he
The
went
dance
to
card.
Didn't
Oh.
you go to dance school?
Meet me in St.
I
Louis.
went to a cotillion kind of.
He went to a
program.
cotillion type of dance where
gosh.
they had to write down, and girls. Did you have a full card all the time?
Maybe.
I'm gonna talk about it, huh? You don't want Lisa. Sorry. You don't want Lauren to know that, do you? He doesn't want Lauren to know.
Oh, okay.
About
That my dance card is always full.
yeah, the
I
dance card's
didn't
always
know.
full.
Golly.
I am so going to stay out of this. That it's,
Well, I
scary.
can't do that. When
No.
anybody starts talking about a relationship, just like Jared Starrett, we almost ruined his, but it came back and it's stronger than ever.
Oh, good.
And
Yeah,
so
we saved it, I think.
I think we saved it.
Almost
and
destroyed it, and then Cindy brought it back from the bowels of badness.
And even though Richard
Flagellant
has
and bowels. Really, is that the topic today?
Speaking of bowels, we've already gone through that talk. But speaking of that and ruining relationships, we're excited about a date that Richard has on Saturday, and
One of us is, yes.
I'm trying to
Well, Mark, we're
encourage.
gonna come see you.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Dick, that
You
was
better
so low
be-
of me. I apologize.
Jeez.
Lauren.
Oh my gosh.
Lauren.
Now
I'm bringing the Rotten Tomatoes now.
now they're going to go watch Noah. Sheesh.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
No, Lauren, you're going to have a great time, and I'm so happy that you've agreed to go on this date with Richard. It's all he's talked about, and it's all we've had to hear about.
Yeah,
is
that's
that
true.
so?
That's pretty much
so.
it.
We're excited for Richard and for you, and we hope that this play brings you even closer together. And
It's a
bonds
real
you.
mood setter.
Oh, it
It
is.
really
Definitely
is.
is. Very romantic.
I'm telling you, when you walk out of that, she's going to say like, "I can't believe they believe like that," and Richard's going, "You don't believe like that? What?" And it'll just
go
cause
see Noah.
Yeah, let's go see
So
Noah.
you know if you want to get up.
rock people.
Oh man.
No, so anyway, we hope that you have a great time because we know Lauren is listening. She hangs on every word that Richard says in the morning, doesn't she? Is she on?
Not
for the
this
whole time?
morning. 'Cause I haven't
Oh
really
yeah,
been on.
he's in your
Oh.
show with the aperture thing's not on.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
Not, we're not on today.
Oh, okay.
Listen, if you got, we need to tell people they're gonna have to find something to do for that hour. right?
At 3 o'clock, I had to cancel today.
Yes. So go ahead and go do all the appointments you guys needed to do for those that watch or listen to Aperture. Is that just the word, just Aperture? That's it?
It's aperture and shutter speed.
And shutter speed.
Oh
Okay.
my
and
gosh,
shutter
Cindy!
speed.
I just got handed this notice. And
Oh,
it's,
what? What?
It's an late breaking, early breaking. This happened a while back, and right now it's just been handed to me by our
Producer,
news staff. Ann Hodges was snuggled under a blanket on the couch in Sylacauga, Alabama, and I think I'm pronouncing that correct. Alabama, one afternoon in November of 1954, when a grapefruit-sized meteorite burst through the roof of her house, bounced off a radio, and struck her left hip. She is thought to be the first person in modern history to be hit by a meteorite. They say modern history because back in, I think it was 1428, Hansel Mickenschnapf actually got hit in the buttocks, if I may say that,
that's all right.
by a meteorite, and he didn't live, though. Oh, man, have you ever been killed by a hit to the buttock? Anyway, I think God intended it for me, Hodges then, she was 31, said, trailed by a fireball big enough to be seen in 3 states. The space rock was traveling between 200 and 400 miles an hour, according to scientists, when it reached her. Hodges was badly bruised, but didn't sustain any serious injury. She died of unrelated causes in 1972 when she straddled. No,
I thought that was maybe the Ann Hodges that wrote for the Chronicle. Who did
oh, yeah,
entertainment.
it's her too. No, I don't know
No,
that. By the
that's
way,
not
that
her.
meteorite,
That's
if you
not
want
her.
to see it, it's in the Alabama Museum of Natural History. Oh, my gosh, you talk about unlucky, Cindy. But, by the way, they have insurance for that, getting hit
do?
by a meteorite. It's very cheap, really. Not much at all. For the rest of your life, $20.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And
Yes.
that, well, if something hits you like that, what insurance? They don't cover that,
Oh,
do
and
they?
like Lloyd's of London
Yeah,
will
but
cover
just about
you know,
anything.
the
That's
better
right.
thing
They
to
don't-
do is take a bet in Las Vegas about the chance
There you
of
go.
so-and-so. I bet
There you go.
I bet I get hit by it. So if I do, I'll make
I bet you do too.
$1 billion.
Mark, do you realize that the best thing for everybody to have a better day the next day, and it's probably why this day started off the way it did.
Smallpox shot.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I overmodulated that.
Thank you.
Sorry, did
didn't
that
catch
get your
it.
ear?
No.
I got your attention. Is sleep.
Isn't that
More and more
important?
things are coming out about sleep, and my mom was always about, you got to take a nap. How many naps? Remember when you have to take naps and how horrible that was to interrupt your day of play.
Yeah.
Coming in from outside, smelling like a wet dog, and having to lay down and force yourself to go to sleep. When my sister got old enough where she didn't have to take naps anymore, she was the one who stood over us with a switch, and if we opened our eyes, we got
Wow.
a switch. She would hit us and with the switch. And
That's evil personified.
that's so evil. But so you have to keep your eyes closed. But I would try and figure out a way to open it just enough to see if she was still in the room or if she was still standing there.
Nobody
And-
ever suspected
No,
that.
never, ever. The last thing I saw is the switch coming down. But they've talked about how sleep will help you in the next day and all your productivity.
Wow.
Now, I want everybody to start sleeping more and at least get up at 9:50 and then listen to our show.
Exactly, by then.
But older people, and as you get older, how you can go to sleep so quickly, and you wish somebody would say,
Yes.
"Go to sleep." Yeah. You can't get up for another hour. That would be fine. So I think it's because we don't get good sleep during the night that we get so tired.
Yeah.
Do you sleep well? Do you sleep
I
all
haven't
night?
lately because of the CPAP machine I've got that's for breathing. I have sleep apnea, and it leaks. It sticks to my nose and it leaks. And if I just move a little bit, and when it does, it'll wake me up. And if I don't use it, I wake up. I'm not joking you. Just
Like that.
yeah, like this. Can y'all see that?
Yes,
Like
sir.
this. I'm there, and all of a sudden, and I'm gasping. And by
Poor
the way, I may have
thing.
mentioned this. When I took morphine, when they had cut me open once to take out something that I don't want to talk about anymore, they
Good.
gave me morphine, and are you allergic to something? No, I'm not. And I've mentioned this to you before, Cindy, and maybe to our listeners. But what morphine did to me is I have sleep apnea, but for some reason it put in my brain that if I do go to sleep now, I will die because
will
I will
wake up.
never wake up because I can't. I'll forget to breathe. And I told the nurse, Miss, I know this isn't true. I know it's not true.
Right.
It's stupid, but when I shut my eyes, that's the thought that hits me. And anyway, that's weird. So, yeah, sleeping, you can't under or over. But medication, Zyrtec. I woke up this morning, you were on my mind. Anyway, when I woke up this morning, I was thinking I got to take a Zyrtec because hay fever. I was sneezing. And then I said, no, my system is so pure that it puts me to sleep in the afternoon, and then the next morning I'm just sleepy.
No,
and,
that's right. Those things are horrible. Now, Claritin doesn't seem to have as much effect.
Yeah, that's what.
During
yes,
the day. Does it?
It doesn't have affected me at all, as it turns out, and that's sad.
That's great because we are in allergy season, and what's so funny is this is the most beautiful time of year, and most of us have to enjoy it through a window pane and air conditioning, purified air, because otherwise we will sneeze to death, and the poor kids that are running around just and they want to be outside playing, and they go outside and they bring all that pollen back in. And you want to just do you need to have a room to de-pollen everybody before they walk into
Hit them with a bunch of gamma rays. But I wanted to say this before we go to a break, and we have to go to a break again, is, Cindy, the Hader children were never told to take a nap. That's weird. And I don't know, there were 7 of us, and at no time did we ever say, did Mom ever say, okay, everybody take a nap? It just,
well, that means y'all have to come in the house, and she probably just keep y'all outside.
She
much
kept
better.
us outside, Don't bring them in to take a nap. I don't know how many times the word was, it's sunny outside. Get out of here.
That's right.
That's what you wanted to do.
Does that happen today? We don't know. We'll talk about it when we get back. You're listening to the Mark and Cindy Show on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming to you live from downtown Conroe, Texas. We'll be right back after this.
Howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoors Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil the Duck Commander Robertson to fishing legend Bill Dance or everybody's favorite uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
Wow. And we're back. Why am I so loud? I feel like I'm over.
You're just a loud person, Cindy.
That
I'm a loud
song
mouth.
has just now removed another song in my brain that has been there a while.
glad
What
I
do they
could do
call
that
that
for you.
when a song you can't
Get out of your head.
Lamb chop?
exactly?
This is
No,
the
there's a
song
word for it.
that-
It's a something, not an aneurysm, but something that does that.
But
it was from one of the songs from the play they play at the start that was from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And it has been in my brain, but now I've got Love You Starry Up. Boom, boom. Anyway.
My brother and I used to do that as a mean thing. He'd come into a room and I'd start
that's
some
terrible.
song, and he'd go, "Shut up, shut up, shut up!" And those songs like the I can't think of a song.
I know,
the
that's
songs
terrible.
that, dun 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 dun. My Girl. You sing My Girl. I
yes,
can't get that out of my
that's
head.
right.
And we hate to do that to people, but
Yep.
we'd like to try.
This has nothing to do with anything, but that's the pleasure of it. speaking of getting your brother and sister and all, I was in church last Sunday, and there was
Good
two
boy.
boys. There was two boys. There were two boys sitting, a couple of aisles in front of me. And it was me and Dennis all over again. Except Mom would have knocked the crud out of me.
Yeah.
One of them had a coffee cup, and he was sticking it on his ear and his chin. And the older brother, would just sit there like, I'm not interested. Then he'd try to grab it, and they
Right.
would fight there. And the mother was like on Planet Xena or something, or maybe she was actually listening to the sermon.
Probably so.
But she was, and they're over there, and then he'd do it again, and I could just see that little sly son of a gun. That's not the thing I ever did to Dennis, my older brother. He did stuff like that to me, and it was one of these things where you're just, oh gosh, now get out of here. I'm going to.
But
really
what do
get
you
upset.
do? You're sitting behind kids doing that in church, and the mother's not watching, and it's bothering everybody, and you can't concentrate on the sermon because you're so interested in what they're doing, and that you need to correct them. So do you correct them? Does the teacher come out at you and go like, if you guys do this again, God's going to strike you dead? What do you do?
It wants to, but what I do is I look at the parent and realize, no, this is not the thing to do. I'll tell you what upsets me, and this is, I hope none of you are listening who do this, but it's happened in both places, churches I've been to. There will be a lady, they're usually newlyweds, but not necessarily.
I know he didn't do
And
it.
she goes over there and takes her hand and starts rubbing on the back of her husband's hair and then grabs his ear and is playing with that, patting his back. And I'm sitting there, please stop, please don't do that. And they're usually in the front. And I'm sitting back there and I can't take my eye off of this insanity here. What possesses somebody to do that?
That is so true. But now
You've seen it.
I've done it, but
I'm sorry.
wait.
No, it's
we're on the
perfectly
back
okay.
row. We're sitting on the
Yes,
back row.
that's fine.
Or you do that in the balcony? No, we're not in the show.
no.
But I know we. I've done that like with some. So like Sam said, my shoulder's hurting me, and so I was sitting there. and I go, yeah, his shoulder's hurting. So I rub his shoulder. But then whenever you're on the person that's
The
sitting
other side,
behind someone
yeah.
doing that, I go like, oh, Cindy, you should never do that because that is so distracting.
And it if anybody did that to me, I mean, I love Kay dearly, but please don't do that. Don't ever touch my ear, and don't be doing this
It's
unless
weird.
you're Gwyneth Paltrow. And I made that up. I don't even want her doing that. I don't want anybody messing.
It is. It's weird.
Yes,
it is weird, and
Please.
it's those public displays of affection like that are. Some of them are really cute. Somebody holds
Yeah, I
hands
like
and
that.
they put their arm around them and all that. But slobbering, kissing, that's not true, especially in
Cindy,
church.
what's happened to me? It's this is hypotheticals or rhetorical. That's exactly what it is. Cindy, I can't watch kisses on TV anymore. There's something that's happened to me. I guess it's getting old, but whenever I see that, please
You've
don't.
gone through the change?
Yeah, the mouth and all. Yes, the change hits me.
Well, they certainly kiss differently than they did whenever we were growing up.
I
For
guess
crying out
so.
loud, you
Yeah,
just
I had
smack 'em.
no idea. But when I learned, let me say this: we need a joke right now before you get into what you're
Oh, we've
ready
got
to
a
say.
joke coming.
This is from Mark Dennison from the First Baptist Church. He writes the best stuff, and this was a while back, and I wanted to mention it. It was good, and I'm sure I can't tell it as well as he wrote it.
Don't
but-
kill it before you tell it. Go ahead, tell it.
Go ahead and tell the stupid thing. Quit your qualifiers, Mark, you idiot. Okay, this young boy is working in a grocery store. He's there, and all of a sudden this customer comes up and he says, hey, I want to buy a half a head of lettuce. And the boy says, well, you can't buy a half a head of lettuce. What are you talking about? I want a half. That's all I want. Well, why don't you get a whole head and, cut half and throw the other half away? I want a half a head. You got to. And the boy said, is this? I want to talk to the manager. He said, well, I tell you what, you stay here. I'm going to go talk to my boss about this. So the boy turns around, goes in the back room, and the owner of the store, and he goes in and he says, you're not going to believe this. This idiot is out there, and he wants to buy a head of lettuce. And all of a sudden, the boy sees through the corner of his eye that the guy has followed him in the store. And he just said, this idiot's out there. And then the boy said, this idiot's out there. He wants to buy half a head of lettuce. And this gentleman here is gracious enough to buy the other half. And the store owner says, oh, my. After the guy leaves, he said, you're unbelievable. You're the wisest boy I've ever seen, quick and all. And, man, you're going to go far in this business and all. And he said, why are you even here? I saw you had a pretty good job in Texas and all. Why did you ever leave Texas? And the guy said, oh, man, Texas, all they got there are prostitutes and football players. And the owner said, I'll have you know, my wife is from Texas. And he says, really? What team did she play for? He was genius.
That
And Cindy,
is
thanks
good.
for laughing. I told you
like
so
that.
bad.
No,
but that
I
was
like
sweet.
that. I'm telling you, I need to hire out as a ringer in
You
the
do?
audiences. I meant
You-
to talk to Don Hampton about that.
You need to come
let
back
me-
and see the play
So
again.
that
and,
that
would
is
be
funny.
neat.
I love that. And speaking of lettuce and vegans, I think that it's very interesting to me, like trying to define a vegan.
Oh,
like,
yes. No
because
kidding.
there are things that they're going to eat that will have some kind of implication of
a
meat
animal,
or animal in it some way. In some way, it's in it. Like cheese has the milk from the cow. Is that okay to drink the milk from the cow, or is that, I don't
Is
know,
that vegan or
dishonoring the cow?
vegetarian? You never know these
Yeah,
things.
see, I want to make sure that I am politically correct on this.
An egg.
But I do like Lauren Richard's date this weekend. Her attitude is that she's a social meat eater. I never heard of that before. It's like a social drinker, but she's a social meat eater, and so she gets caught in a social
You know how
event.
much trouble you're getting me into right now.
Me get you in trouble?
But
oh,
I'll-
never, never. I would never try and do that.
I don't know why I tell you these things now.
Well, you like to
I like to talk.
let us know what's going on, and I think that's great. And you always want our advice, so I'm trying to give you some advice live over the air.
I just like talking about interesting things, and that's
Yeah.
that is an interesting concept. Like I said, I've never heard of it. And
I hadn't either. I think that's great. But Samantha's friend, who had claimed to be a vegan, and he said that he cannot taste meat. He said the last time I bit into some venison and I could see the deer, going through the field, and I felt the deer's pain when it died, and that I couldn't eat meat anymore.
Yeah.
Wow. And Sam, who is a rabid deer hunter, was
He's a
standing
carnivore.
there listening to this, trying not to go, what? But he just sat there and looked, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that one before. But it is true that people get that sensitive to it. And
I wish I was. That would be so neat.
I don't, by the time the steak is there and it's consumed, I haven't had time to think about its background
gosh.
and character.
And
of
when
the
you look at
animal.
a cow, the things those go through, during the butcher process, they're walking in there and the
Okay,
sense
stop.
of the cow is not good. It's like, I know something's going to happen to me.
Don't.
Anyway.
You know what? When I go to
But
the
it
restaurant,
offends
I don't
them.
even like them to have pictures of animals on the thing because I don't want to remember that's. And I like the plastic is just over the meat, and that's all I need to know.
That's all.
Where it came from, I don't tell me nothing. I know what I know. That stuff. So I'm a denier.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
that's what I am.
that's-
I'm a denier. Okay, so what else about the farmers were you having a problem
Well,
with?
I was just this one thing, and people don't realize it, or we don't care really much about what's going on the outside, as long as we can still buy Fritos and hamburger or something. At least that's me. I'm just
Yeah,
speaking of me.
I
but
agree.
really, farmers in the United States are having difficulty in different parts, like it's flooding up in the Northeast, but still in the Midwest and the West, they're having problems. And they say in the United States there will be a massive shift in the crops grown. Rice, farmers, let's face it, I mean, it takes a lot of water to grow rice, and even in areas in Louisiana now, they're going to corn. So corn will possibly become more plentiful. Rice will go down, and the growing seasons are lengthening up north, so they will be able to possibly, do more growing of two crops, actually have fall gardens and stuff up there. So things are radically changing, and some will be for the better, some will be for the worse. And
Well, we all need to start our own garden. I think we need to go
Well,
back
please
to
don't
doing
say-
our own
What do you
garden.
think of genetically grown crops?
I tell you, Dick, that is such a great question. I don't know. I've got a friend. He's a acquaintance more than a friend, but he works on that, and he's a scientist, and he says there's nothing to fear from this, But when you're cloning something, whether it's a vegetable or whatever, let's say it's a vegetable, you are, yes, I'm increasing the amount, the size of the nugget or whatever, the piece of corn, the tomato or whatever, but also along with that, you're taking other qualities from that tomato or whatever that may be bad and may increase its size, and then whatever you develop out there cloning, whenever the spring comes, the pollen and all goes, and you end up with hybrid crops everywhere. And if there is something bad, it's too late to do much about it.
Now, are you talking about what is the hydroponic grow, they grow things hydroponically. What is the difference between that and what you're talking about?
Well, hydroponic is just how you water the plants. You can have them suspended in the air and have mist growing on
That's
them.
all that means.
That's all that means.
Okay. Because the tomatoes, you're talking about tomatoes, and these are grown that way, and they're not, they don't pick them from, like when you go out and you put tomato plants in the ground, and it's like probably suspended like you're talking about. But these tomatoes, the Campari tomatoes, Campari tomatoes, every one of them taste like you just picked.
Holy cow! Where
right.
do I get them? What do I do?
At Kroger. They're at Kroger.
Campari.
And I found one time. I don't know where I was, and I took the box home because they all look so perfect, and I ate them, and every single one of them tasted good. So I went back to the store and I went, where do you get these from? And they talked about they're pretty expensive, but they're not really that expensive, but they're hard to get. And so every time they didn't have them, I made this campaign, and so then when the new Kroger opened, they didn't have them, and I said, "Listen, the Kroger on 336 has them. You have to have the Campari."
That's the biggest Kroger in the world that you go to.
So they finally got them, and they sell out. I go, tell me when to be here, and I'll buy it.
Are they bigger than normal, or are they
No. They're just like between the little cherry tomatoes and normal tomato, but they're perfect. Every one.
Does that make your week?
Oh, it would me. You get a good tomato. What more?
Yeah, well, tomatoes are delicious, but I meant more of like when your Kroger gets that shipment in of just delicious produce that week.
They give her a call.
Yes, and I believe it's all because of me.
You think so? Because you complain every time you go like, this is subpar. We need some more. We need better quality.
I'll tell you
produce.
Well, if you don't let them know how, I always do it really nice though, and I say, I love this place, and I want to be here. I want to shop here. Please, could you? And they said, well, we just need to know. Our customers need to tell us, and I'm one of those that do it. They probably go back in the back and go like, Cindy's here again.
If we could go back in time, and we can't, Cindy. You really can't. But it'd be easier to go back in time than in the future. But let me tell you this. When we were kids, if you had a tomato there that you'd buy at Wine Gardens, our place was Wine Gardens.
Yes, that's right.
Lewis and Kroger.
Yeah.
Lewis and Coker. Anyway, in one today, the tomatoes over time, they have bred them, not genetically enhanced them to where the skin is thicker so that, they can throw them in a crate and ship them everywhere, and it doesn't matter because they can take a bruise. But back then they couldn't. So there is some stuff like watermelons in Japan. They're getting rectangular ones now, but not because they're doing genetic things that I don't believe there are, but
they grow them in a box.
They grow them in a dadgum box, and they cost a little more if you get a boxed watermelon.
Save some space.
It's like so you can cut it like sliced bread, and they're
sure.
Speaking of that, and folks, I know this is fascinating as heck, and we've got to take a break. But
I love this.
You know how you've got this apple slicer, this round thing
Yeah.
with the. Kay and I were in the store the other day, and we saw one for a watermelon. It's huge. You talk about killing yourself. An apple isn't easy. You try to do a watermelon with one of those slices.
What do you have that hammer?
Oh, yeah. Whop! You get what's that guy, comedian's name who hits stuff with the switch? Yeah.
Oh, I'll know it as soon as we leave
goodness,
here.
it's encouraging word time when we get back from the Mark and Cindy show here on this Wednesday. Hey, it's beautiful, too.
It is.
Clouds.
Yeah, it's really, we got sun.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
The Conroe Art League is a nonprofit entity promoting the visual arts in Montgomery County. They've evolved over the last 49 years into one of the premier artist groups in the greater Houston area. The Conroe Art League is now permanently housed in the 100-year-old recently remodeled Madeley building in historic downtown Conroe. Exhibits of local artists, sculptors, and painters are changed periodically in the downstairs gallery with admission free to the public. Art classes and demonstrations in a variety of media are provided in the upstairs studios. The mission of the Conroe Art League is to encourage artistic development and cultivate an appreciation of the visual arts through education, exhibitions, and community outreach. For more information, call area code 936-756-9572 or visit their website at www.conroeartleague.com.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
Oh my
Good
goodness.
morning again. It's still morning. And
it
we,
is.
on the Facebook thing I did, I also talked about we're going to be having some tickets and some passes for some events coming up. And we're going to base who we give these to on Facebook. Facebook listeners, why are you looking like you don't know what?
Well,
in the
no,
world
what
I'm
I'm
talking
actually
about?
trying to do, the taste, I was trying to think of what the event
What
was
was that?
coming up that we've got. May 8th.
Mark, you know you come here
Taste
every
Fest.
day.
He's busy doing a play.
I
Let him
forgot
alone.
about that. Yes, the Taste Fest, May 8th. Oh, gosh, folks, you want this ticket for an adult. It's normally costs $15 and for
Yeah.
a child $5, and we're going
And
to
you
be-
got to look at the small print. 2 adult beverages included.
Hokey smokes. But this is where you just go, in this case, to the Lone Star Center, and they've got food. They've got food. They've got people, take this, try this, because thinking
And you
that you're
can be
going to-
whatever religion you want.
Oh,
You
you
like
can
it.
be.
You
They
can go
don't
in there
care.
and eat. You can eat.
I had a thought.
Yes.
So
Uh-oh.
tomorrow is Thursday.
Yes.
So it's going to be the last live show this week.
Yeah.
Mark, you got to come in as your character because it's the last
That's
weekend for Inherit the
awesome.
Wind. Do you think you could do it?
I'm pretty sure I could.
That's
No, it's not that. I don't-
No, Mark.
I don't know the character. I mean, I just.
What kind of
But you,
actor are you?
but you
lines.
can do some lines from it.
You're not a method actor?
What if I feed you some lines and then you do and
Okay,
you
I
go
can
into
do a
your
line
thing?
or two. Yeah, I can do that.
Bring in the script. Can we?
Yeah.
Can you
No,
bring
I
in the
want, him,
script?
I want him to be the character.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to be the character, and we're gonna do
for the whole show.
for the whole show.
Especially for
Let's
he
get
could
past
not.
this.
Especially the
No.
encouraging word.
could
Encouraging
not.
word.
Encouraging word we could do.
That would be
Clarence,
great.
Clarence Darrow. I'm sorry, Henry Drummond in the
Yeah,
encouraging word, but that's not
hilarious.
it. You know,
Okay. Sorry.
oh man, I don't have much time. Let me mention this. It has to do actually with success, which I've been known to be a downer big time, and when good stuff happens to me, I'm happy, but my thought is,
I don't deserve it.
no, well, yeah, that's definitely true, but okay, now it's not going to last. Something else
not
bad's
gonna
going to happen. I was thinking
Mark.
of Elijah, and if you get a chance in 1 Kings 18 and 19, you will read a case that is unbelievable. Elijah is at the pinnacle of success. You've got Jezebel and King Ahab, and the king has called all of the priests of Baal, and there's 450 of them, to come, and Elijah is there. He's, Ahab wants to kill him, and so they have a contest, and there's been a drought for 3 years caused by God through Elijah. Anyway, they have this, they make these 2 altars, and the Baal priest, 450 of them, slaughter this cow and put on it, and then Elijah does. Anyway, and Elijah says, here's what we're going to do. You're going to light yours without fire or a match or anything. Just pray to Baal. Baal will light it, and then Elijah says, and we'll see how you do, and then I'll try it my way. Anyway, the Baal people, they're there all day, and they can't get it, and they're cutting themselves, saying, please, Baal, if I hurt myself enough, you'll cause fire. Anyway, after all of this time, Elijah then throws water all over the wood, all over everything, all over the cow, and he just prays, God, please. And fire from heaven comes and lights this thing. And the people are so behind Elijah's God that they kill all 450 of those priests. In fact, they go back to wherever it is and kill 400 more, 850 priests. And after that, when Jezebel, the queen, hears this, she says, I'm going to kill you, Elijah. And he runs and hides in a cave. He was at the top of success, and then the worst thing happened to him, and this displeased God. Success is good, but it's so short-lived, and there's among many people, but to some people, and it's happened to me too, you don't realize it. Success, if you're looking at yourself, is so unsatisfactory because you realize, wow, this happened great, and then the next day, wow, I've got to top that. I've got to do this, and you cannot. And I was reading this from a godly person. This is, of course, Chambers again. And he says, just as failure can dent your faith, success can also. He talks about Elijah, and then he says, the power that comes through God, and yet didn't scare him. It's Jezebel that scared him more than anything with God. And he says, our failures may not pose the biggest threat to spiritual growth. Potential destruction is hidden in our successes. Our confidence is at its peak and can cause us to turn our eyes away from God. Wow, you start thinking, I did it. People brag on you, and you start thinking, oh, wow, I'm great. And then he says, your victory is always in God's hands. He will work in me to achieve his purpose, but it's always his victory. All praise is his, and fear need not be mine. That's the thing. If when you do have a successful moment, and you will, ladies and gentlemen, you'll feel good about something, remember where it came from.
That's right.
It's no talent of mine or yours or whatever. It's a gift that you have, and it can be taken from you in a moment. And I'll tell you this, it is going to, I believe, come closer to be taken from you if you start thinking, I did this.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
and I think a lot of times you hear it over and over and read the stories of actors and very, famous people and all that their fear is always like, what about tomorrow? But what about tomorrow? But what about tomorrow? So they're never enjoying all that's going on anyway. Exactly. And plus they believe that I don't deserve this. I don't deserve what all these people acting like this toward me. I don't deserve it. And that kills their, their inner self. And so, success and fame and all that stuff, as long as everything that happens to you is all the glories reflected back to God, then you don't have to worry about that. You don't feel that way. You're just so happy to be there.
And I know that sounds silly to so many people, but it's so true. There is really, in human nature, there is no happiness that's lasting at all in you. You cannot stay there. You cannot be there. And if your happiness depends on people liking you, patting you on the back, instead of God looking at you and saying, wow, I'm using you now. Mm-hmm. You see that experience you just had? It was from me, but enjoy it. It's I'm your God. If you realize that, you can life disappointments. God knew what was going to happen there. You're disappointed, but you're looking at me, and you're part of my plan.
That's how He made you. It's just like if you'll just follow. Keep your eyes on me. Everything will be okay, and we'll get through this. But you got to know where the strength and where all the glory is coming from. It's from Him. So that's a good way to end.
That's a good way to end. Dick, thanks for letting us go over a little bit.
Yes,
we were late today.
Sorry.
And Mark and Cindy Show, please get on Facebook and tell us howdy and like us and stuff like that.
We'll be here tomorrow live again.
Oh, and it's going to be exciting, Cindy.
It is. I can't wait.
I'm going to be here on time, I'm thinking.
I'm going to be early. So thank you so much.
See, now that's over the line.
You guys have a great day. Remember that God loves you and God's got this.
Well, it's Mark and Cindy. They've got a morning show. Every day I listen in.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.